about all of you, but it certainly does not feel like Michigan in any way, shape, or form. Jonathan, do you enjoy this weather?
No.
That was a very distinct answer. I got to tell you, though, yesterday, the one thing, folks, that I love about the Great Lakes Bay region is I headed out onto the Saginaw Bay in the middle of the afternoon, and it was glorious because it cooled down by a solid 6, 7, 8 degrees, but the breeze was magnificent. And it's always a reminder of how quickly we can go here in our region from the middle of a hot dust bowl, a 97-degree day, and in the snap of a fingers, you're in the middle of a Great Lake. It's a phenomenal thing, and sometimes I think we take that for granted. What do you think, Jonathan?
I agree. If I had a boat, I'd be.
Why don't you have a boat, man? You live in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I got
you live
a
in the
kayak.
Great Lakes State. Yeah, well,
that's basically the same.
Take
it
that
is a boat.
Take that kayak out and go get a breeze and relax. And I forget, are you a cat guy or a dog guy?
Either. I've got cats, but that's just because I can't really take care of a dog right now. I like dogs.
Fair, but can you take a cat on a kayak ride, like with a little cat life preserver? Does that work?
You probably could, but I'm not gonna.
I mean, that's a visual that I want to see: is you pulling out in your kayak on the Saginaw Bay with a cat with a life preserver, and you guys going out to enjoy the bay.
I would return with a lot more holes and scratches and bite marks than I left with.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
Well, folks, just as a reminder, I'm sure you know, but be careful out there here today and tomorrow. Still have some pretty hot and humid weather. Make sure your animals get inside. Definitely do not leave them in a car. Check on those who are elderly who may not have air conditioning, and just make sure your circle is taken care of. I definitely am going to do the same. So with that, folks, we have a very kind of fascinating week. You're going to have a week full of Matt Fallon with a little bit of Art Lewis sprinkled in. It is Dow Championship Week, which is one of our favorite weeks of the year here in the Great Lakes Bay region. As such, for most of the week, we're actually going to be on location live from the Midland Country Club, the home of the Dow Championship. We are going to be out there starting tomorrow. Art will be live from the Midland Country Club, and then it'll be myself Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The tournament kicks off on Thursday. When I have the show Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we love to bring a ton of guests in that are associated with the Dow Championship. And they're a plethora that come on, whether they are community partners, sponsors, folks with Dow Incorporated, folks with Outlier who run the Dow Championship. You're going to hear from a whole host of people throughout the week who are part of this really magnificent golf tournament and championship. If you guys have not been out there before, it is an LPGA event. The top women golfers literally in the world come out and participate in a team format. So there are two competitors to a team. The format switches each day between best ball and kind of an every other shot. It is an absolutely spectacular tournament, and really looking forward to it. And as part of that, this morning, we're kind of going to jump right in with the golf theme and talk with some folks who are going to be associated with the golf tournament. So I want to welcome to the show Paige Kopchak and Bennett Schmidt with First Tee. Good morning, Paige and Bennett.
Good morning. Thanks for having us. We're excited to be here.
Absolutely. So, Paige, if I have it correct, are you the executive director there at First Tee?
I am, yeah. Officially 1 year on the job, so it's been a great year, and I'm excited for another week of the Dow Championship.
Yeah, so for our listeners who may have heard of First Tee but don't exactly know what First Tee is, can you kind of give the big picture of exactly who First Tee is?
Yeah, absolutely. So First Tee is a national organization, but we are the Eastern Michigan chapter, so we serve from Lapeer all the way up to Isabella County. And last year we served over 17,000 kids. Our mission is to use the game of golf to teach life skills and character development. We value the lessons in the game of golf and all the things that it can benefit a kid. And just getting them outside, getting them meeting other people, getting them out of their comfort zones and challenging them, preparing them for the next challenge in life. You know, they're going to go off to college one day, and we want to make sure that they're as prepared as they can be. So our goal is to just grow that next generation into game changers.
I love it. And Bennett, you're the regional program manager for the Great Lakes Bay region, correct?
That is correct. So I'm up here in the Great Lakes Bay region, Bay, Midland, Saginaw, and Isabella County.
Oh, that's outstanding. And so when you talk about program manager, Are you involved on the golf side, the life skill side, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. I've experience in golf, so I'm on the ground giving golf instruction and then speaking in those life skills that come along with golf. So whether that's keeping your own score, calling your own penalties, shaking hands at the beginning, at the end of every round, along with teaching them how to chip and putt. All of those kind of bundled up in one.
Wait a minute. I'm supposed to shake hands at the end of every round?
Yeah, you take off your hat and say, it was a pleasure playing with you, no matter what you shot.
Even if I shoot like a 120, like I have to still shake hands and be cordial. I just can't storm off the course after shooting a 120.
You shouldn't. I don't think so.
It might be tricky, but
that is totally fair and something I do. I will say it's generally with more laughter when I'm done with a round of 18. There's no need to storm. I have a really good friend, Mike Dorr. I'm going to throw under the bus right now, but Mike always reminds me, Matt, you're never good enough for this to matter, so don't worry about it. Like just play the game and go on your way. So this week, guys, what is your role with the Dow Championship?
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
have
So I'll touch it.
a couple different.
Paige,
Running
Go ahead, Bennett.
Oh, go ahead, Bennett. Go for it.
We're running a junior clinic at Curry Golf Course tomorrow. It's one of our favorite days of the year. We have a bunch of different golf stations set up on the East Course and the driving range, and that's going to conclude with a lesson from an LPGA player, so someone a little more qualified than me and Paige. And it's a fun day. We'll have a bunch of fun stations, and we'll expect over 300 kids in attendance. And then we'll go on site during the tournament. We'll have the kids zone set up. We'll have Golfzilla there. We'll be hitting golf shots and keeping the golf atmosphere fun on the course as well.
Whoa, Bennett, you don't get to say Golfzilla and just kind of end it there. Like you said, you had steak for dinner last night. Like it's just matter of fact. What is Golfzilla, and how can I be a part of Golfzilla?
Golfzilla is tough to miss. If you're on the course, we have a giant inflatable dinosaur that we use as our driving range, so you can hit golf balls towards this dinosaur. Probably 30 feet tall, roughly. And if you're on the course, it kind of stands out. It usually finds its way on the Golf Channel at night. So if you're on the course, come and take a few swings and try and get the golf ball in its mouth.
Jonathan, I think we're going to have to go take part in this. Like, if I show up, am I allowed to swing at Golfzilla this week?
I would be disappointed if you didn't.
Well, everyone get ready, Paige, because when I'm out there, even though Golfzilla is apparently massive, I will find a way to miss it completely. But, we're there for a good time. So the kids that are coming out tomorrow, tell me about those kids. Where are they coming from?
This event is free to any kid in the Great Lakes Bay region. So from Bay City, Saginaw, Midland, Isabella County. We'll have a few regional partners getting kids there too, like Greater Midland. So it's a diverse group of golfers, many of whom are in our programs across the region.
That's awesome. And is tomorrow already full? You got your group, or if someone's listening, can they still sneak in?
Yeah, so we are full for our pre-registration, but you're welcome to come and register on site. With the heat, we're kind of going to play it by ear and see what it looks like with the group. But registration, you can come on site and register day of. But that pre-registration is full.
And I haven't looked too closely yet. How are we looking weather tomorrow? We going to hold off in the morning? You guys going to be good until later in the day? How are we feeling?
Yeah, so the event is from 9:30 to noon. Registration opens at 9 o'clock. So we're going to run with it, and it is looking hot, but we'll have plenty of water and shade and rest areas that people can kind of take a break from all the activities. And we still plan to have the event, and sunshine's way better than rain, so we'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to keep chatting with you, and let's learn a little bit more about what First Tee does year-round here in eastern Michigan and the Great Lakes Bay region.
We're proud to make
This is a test of the emergency
Good morning and welcome back to the Art Lewis Show. The Art Lewis Show is presented by Westside Decorating Center. Visit them at 5789 State Street in Saginaw or online at westsidedecoratingcenter.com. So it's Matt Flan filling in for Art Lewis today and much of the week, actually, as it's Dow Championship Week. And we are chatting quite a bit about golf. And this morning I'm joined by Paige and Bennett from First Tee of Eastern Michigan. So, Paige, want to turn to you because, of course, it's exciting. You know, we got GolfZilla. It's a big week around the Dow Championship. But First Tee operates a heck of a lot more than just this week. Can you talk about what your programming looks like throughout the year, but especially here in the summer months when kids are off school and really kind of have the most time to enjoy the game of golf?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do programs right at Curry in Midland. So we have, I think, about 90 kids this summer at Curry specifically, just doing our summer program. So we provide programs. It's $150 to register, but we do offer financial aid to any family that needs it. So during that application process, they're able to just apply and for that financial aid. And we want to make sure that any kid that wants to enjoy the game and wants to just try something new is able to. We don't ever want cost to be a barrier. So that's a 6-week program where they come each week. They see Coach Bennett, and they're able to just learn more about the game of golf. We focus more on that skills side of everything. So we're teaching them putting, chipping, driving, full swing, all the things each week, and then sending them home with a little bit of character development as well.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear about the character development because I think that's just such a unique piece. How do you guys work on character development while you're also working on golf?
Yeah, I think one of my favorite examples that some of our coaches use is when golf is a very unique sport. I mean, the ball is stationary. It's not always moving your next shot. You have a few seconds to kind of make those decisions. What club are you going to use? Where are you going to hit it? Are you going to go for the green, or where is it going to go? So there's a lot of decision-making in that process in that moment. And that's something that kids are learning early on, teaching them how to make those tough decisions and preparing them to make hard decisions. So that's just one example. I'm sure Bennett can give many more. But yeah, we have unique ways that we're able to just create those conversations while we're teaching them golf.
So Bennett, what do you love most about coaching and teaching these kids?
Honestly, the personal journeys they go on as they develop their golf games. It's one of the only sports that doesn't have a referee, so it's on you to, keep the group moving, call penalties on yourself, to be a good sport. And golf's a game where you can hit a good shot and get a bad break, and that happens a lot in life. And so how you handle that is really going to determine how your golf game goes. And so giving the kids the skills to make that happen really goes a long way.
And so when you see these kids, Bennett, how long have you been doing this now?
This will be my third summer with this program.
Third summer. Do you run into some kids where you're like, wait a minute, this kid has promise? I can see something. There's a cool show that's currently out on Apple TV called Stick, which is about Owen Wilson as a former golfer, and he ends up at a driving range, and he kind of identifies a kid who's a phenom. Are you ever surprised at the talent level and how good some of these kids that are out there, and you go, gosh, that kid has the chance to be a really good high school golfer, maybe beyond? What do you see out there in terms of talent?
Yeah, the Great Lakes Bay region, the talent has really taken off the past couple of years. I know Dow just had a good season at the state finals. But you do see a lot of talent. Stick's a good example because that character in the TV show has all the talent in the world, but it's up to Owen Wilson, the former golf pro, to manage the mental side of the game to really get him across the finish line. So, like we said, those life skills, that skill of perseverance, grit, is really what's going to make or break you in the game of golf and in life. So
yes.
Giving those kids opportunity to
So, Paige, are the programs filled up for this summer? And is it just at Curry, or where else kind of in that Eastern Michigan geography do you have these classes?
Yeah, up in the Great Lakes Bay region, we're at Maple Leaf. and Pleasant View down in Saginaw. So we have a few different locations other than Curry in the Great Lakes Bay region, and then as well down in Flint in Lapeer, we have a few more locations. We did start last week all of our summer programs. So right now registration, we've kind of had a few people be able to slip in, but when you're paying for those for 5 weeks and you've already missed 2, it's sometimes kind of just disappointing to already miss those 2 weeks. But so we don't recommend anyone kind of registering mid programming, but we do plan to have some fall programming that people can get involved in, and we're excited to kind of launch a girls golf program this fall just at Curry Golf Course specifically for our girls in the region, and create a community where girls just feel comfortable coming and learning. You know, when you're the only girl in the group and you're surrounded by other boys and things like that, it can be intimidating. So to create a community where girls can just feel empowered to come out there and just learn the game of golf and then create their own community of friends is what we're aiming towards for that. So we're looking for volunteers, and we're looking for girls that want to be involved in that. So if anybody wants to join us this fall, we'll definitely have some things coming.
Oh, I love that. And here's a question for you guys. You know, I think a lot of times there's a stereotype that golf is a game kind of solely for the most affluent. And, you know, you see, you know, you go into Dick's and you start looking at drivers and you're like, oh, my goodness, this is not a cheap club, right? And so sometimes it can seem like an expensive game, both with the equipment, but then your greens fees. What would you say to those who may think, hey, we can't really be a part of this because we just don't have that kind of money? What do you do if you're in that position? And really, you know, what does that look like? Do you have to bring your own clubs? Do you guys supply all the clubs? And how can kids just get more involved if they don't always have those means?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think that any of us are naive that it is an expensive sport. You know, a lot of these costs are going up for sports in general. And that is part of our mission, is to break down those barriers. We provide equipment that any kid that needs it, and we work closely with the USGA and GAM to lower the cost. GAM has a program called Youth on Course, which kids can register and play at courses in all over the country, but in Michigan, that participate in this Youth on Course program at a lower cost. So their greens fees are lessened for being a part of this Youth on Course. So there's a lot of different variables that we're able to offer kids to make sure that those costs are low. Again, like I said, we provide that equipment to any kid that needs it. And again, yeah, it's our goal to make sure that any kid that wants to come out and just try it has the ability to come out and try it, and get them outside, get them away from screens, and just do something different this summer in a safe space where they're just able to be kids.
Oh, I love that. So if people that are listening want to help, can they donate clubs? Can they donate time? Can they donate money? For folks who really want to help this program that are listening this morning, what can they do to help, Paige?
All the above, yeah. We always are taking club donations. We're able to gift those to kids. Really, our need is junior clubs. We are able to kind of make those adult clubs work once they get older, but usually as they get older, they're a little more fascinated and want to invest in their own clubs. But those junior clubs is really where we could use some donations, as well as monetary and time. Time is a big thing. All of our coaches are incredible coaches. To anyone who's listening, they are all volunteers. We are so grateful for the community that we have, and that they spend their time investing in the next generation of golfers and growing these kids. I mean, they know that the heart of this program is to just make the kids feel confident, and you see that when they're coaching. So all of our coaches are volunteers, and if you wanted to volunteer, we would love to have you.
Yeah, so last question, Paige. What's the website or Facebook, and where do people go to find out more?
Yeah, firstteeeasternmichigan.org, and our Facebook is First Tee Eastern Michigan as well.
Well, Paige, Bennett, great chatting with you guys today. I'm going to come find you guys this week at the Dow Championship. Good luck tomorrow, and Jonathan Dent's going to do whatever possible to hold that rain off until later in the day tomorrow.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Thank you so much.
Take care.
My name is Kim Harris.
Good morning and welcome back to the Art Lewis Show. It's Matt Flan filling in for Art this week. Every day except for Tuesday, you'll have Art on the air tomorrow. Live at the Midland Country Club out at the Dow Championship. He kind of does his one day of interviews when he's out there. But if you guys don't know, and I think a lot of you do, Art is kind of one of the ultimate ambassadors here in the Great Lakes Bay region. And Art serves as the tea announcer out at the Dow Championship. He has since day one, hole one of the tournament, and he's out there early every morning welcoming each group to the tee, getting to know a lot of the phenomenal golfers that will be here in the region. But he's kind of the ultimate representative of the region. You know, when you're out on T1 and you hear Art Lewis's voice booming and announcing these names of these professional golfers from around the world, you know that you're in Midland, you're in the Great Lakes Bay region, and you're being greeted correct. Art teases me all the time that I'm trying to take his jobs. I am not, but I do announce the 10th hole. I'm the tee announcer for 2 days, so I kind of host the show on Thursday and Friday morning, and then as soon as I'm done, I bolt out and I run to hole 10, and I tee announce out there. So we're kind of within shouting distance of one another, welcoming everyone to the region. I will say it's fun in that a lot of global names, so it takes a little bit of practice, and through the years it gets a little bit easier as we know the golfers, which is great. But Jonathan, not all those names are as simple as Jonathan Dent. It gets a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, you get Polish names and things in there. You're from Bay City. You should be good at least you should have the Polish names.
Man,
now.
I wish there were more Polish names. It's
Yeah.
a lot of the women from kind of that Southeast Asia.
Really?
Yeah, and a lot of them can be real easy. Angel Yin, not a problem. But then you get the Jasmine Sawanapuras, and then some others that get a little bit more complex. But yeah, it's a lot of the women that are from, seems to be South Korea or Thailand or other areas where, yeah, like I said, not all of them are just Jonathan Dent. A lot easier there.
Well, I deal with that with the Saginaw Spirit. At the beginning of each season, there's always a big list of names, and it's like, okay, which one of these do I need to be worried about?
I'll go to the website and actually they have practice pronunciations where all the girls actually give their name, and you just kind of play them over and over, and you're like, gosh, I hope I don't screw up. And then the cards are great because they give the phonetic pronunciation on the cards. But I've found that probably the most terrifying part of doing it is, number one, you're the official starter. So you're just not up there announcing. Like, you actually have the cards, and you're giving them to the caddies and the teams. And the LPGA is very strict. You cannot start till 1 second before or 1 second after, right when that clock turns, a certain time. That's when you start the next group.
Really?
And it's like clockwork, so you have to pay close attention. You got to make sure that you're on it. And so you're trying to do all that. And then you're doing that, and you're getting the names. There's like a little quick paragraph, 2022 Epson Tour, Let winner, and there's different things that are on there. And then you're doing that, and all of a sudden an NBC camera peeks from around the corner, and it's straight in your face because apparently it's a very popular group that's about to come to the tee, and they want to follow that group. And you're kind of not given any warning. So you're like, man, I could have a boogie hanging down. There's sweat dripping. Like, who knows what facial expression I'm making? Like, that camera just kind of ducks around the corner from the tent, and it's just boom, right in your face. And you're like, awesome.
Isn't
like,
this easier, Matt? Isn't radio so much nicer?
Not really. You're judging me the entire time on the other side, so there's no free pass. But it's been fun. My aunt and uncle have called in years past. Said, we just saw you on TV. We were watching the outing, so it's kind of fun. Want to take a couple minutes, folks. If you don't know me, I studied at a school called James Madison College, which is an honors college inside Michigan State University that's really kind of focused on, let's call it public policy, and there's a few different areas of study. My degree is actually in international relations, and when I was studying, there were a couple areas, it's hard to study the entire world over a 4-year time frame, so there's a couple areas that you can kind of pick. And I picked 2 areas of focus. One was Latin America and the Caribbean, and the other was the Middle East. And took several classes about Middle East affairs, and one of the classes was literally taught by a gentleman from Israel who was part of their old military, the Haganah, and knew the content deeply. And I was there in the 90s when the prime minister was Benjamin Netanyahu, who is the prime minister today. And so I got to study pretty significant about kind of his mindset, his thought process, how he views the world, how he looks at relations with the Palestinians and how things look there. And it's hard to get into our Monday and not talk about what happened over the weekend and, really just trying to talk about it. So I'm going to kind of start, we're going to take a break and I'm going to get back into it. But I'm sure you saw the United States did engage in the Middle East arena. We bombed 3 major Iranian nuclear sites. Kind of the premise was that this most recent conflict, and really throughout the years, direct conflict with Iran has not happened. Iran generally funds proxies like Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis in Yemen, and they just kind of give a wink and a nod, and they have those groups do their fighting directly with the United States or the Israelis, and they're little more skirmishes. We've kind of really avoided direct military confrontation with Iran because it could lead to so much more. Well, Israel has finally decided that they've let Iran's nuclear programs kind of proliferate long enough, so they started this escalation by hitting a lot of those programs, but then they've been hitting other military installations, and they've had a much larger conflict. But long story short, they felt that they really couldn't do the necessary damage to Iran's nuclear programs without U.S. assistance. So Bibi Netanyahu has been pressuring and lobbying President Trump to do so, and we did that on Saturday, as you saw. Kind of conflicting reports in terms of the magnitude of the damage that was done. 2 of the sites you can see pretty clearly, but the third is built under a mountain. And if you've ever seen the movie Top Gun Maverick, it's like, okay, this literally looks like that movie in terms of how they set up the theme. But we hit it pretty hard with B-2s that flew out of Missouri with these 30,000-pound bunker-busting bombs to really inflict major damage. So that did take place. It was, from what we know, a successful operation. But again, do we fully know the full damage that we inflicted without having people on the ground? No, we don't. But we know that we continue to really cripple and hurt Iran's nuclear program. But the big question is what lies next. So we're going to take a break, but when we come back, and we're going to continue talking about that and really kind of things we may want to be looking out for here this week as it relates to the Middle East.
What's the most important part of a
Welcome back to the Art Lewis Show. It's Matt Flan filling in. And before break, we started talking about what occurred this weekend in the Middle East and Iran with the U.S. engaging. Jonathan, you said that you kind of on the weekends unplug a little bit from the news a little bit, which I understand when you do this kind of day in, day out, Monday through Friday. But I'm curious, we always joke, you're from one generation, I'm from another, Art's from another, so we kind of get different looks at the world. From your generation, just kind of your standpoint, what do you think when you hear about this conflict?
I think people my age are overly cynical, and I think I'm one of those people, and it's just kind of one of those, yeah, of course this happens. Like, I don't know. There's a certain amount of pessimism of like, yeah, all right, when do the draft letters go out?
Yeah, so as someone that's an 18-year-old who's, as far as I know, incredibly healthy and athletic, we definitely hope that doesn't happen. What I hope that we have learned is that we can do quite a bit of damage and we can secure a lot of areas via the air.
Yeah.
And the air's even gotten safer in terms of, we have pilots, but our drone technology is so remarkable now. And these drones are the size of, small fighter jets, and we can... you can literally have someone, controlling these drones from the continental 48 states in the middle of Missouri. Maybe all that time where we made fun of kids for gaming and video gaming was a bad idea because they're pretty good at operating these drones. But the big question, to your point, and you're alluding to it, is kind of the what comes next. It was interesting. The New York Times decided to say that we were at war. I will say this for those that are listening. I don't hide it. I'm a known Democrat, but I disagree with the New York Times headline. I thought it was a targeted strike on nuclear facilities that we are concerned are going to be used to harm and kill people.
It was taking the teeth away.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't think, we're not attacking the borders, and we're not